Welcome back, guys. So, on today's video, I got a couple questions in the chat earlier about the viability of Resto Shaman leveling. Like, is the damage terrible? Can you solo? What does the rotation look like? And I figured I'd make a quick video and answer some of those questions, because there's a lot of misconceptions I think about leveling as a shaman in general, but also leveling as Resto specifically. I think there's a lot of people out there that have some stigma against shaman. I think the general view is that shaman are relatively low damage or relatively boring to play. And neither is true, at least in the early levels. Right now, I am level 25, going on 26, and the damage is fantastic. This was a dungeon that I did, a Shadowfang Keep dungeon, and I was third on damage as the healer, as a Resto Shaman, literally just auto-attacking, essentially, just swinging my weapon. I was number 3 on damage, I actually beat the mage. So let's go ahead and reset all this. And what I'll do is I just picked up some of these Tarn Mill quests. We can just go and bang out one of these real quick, and I'll show you generally how Shaman plays
What is it?
at this level range. What to expect if you're thinking, hey, I kind of want to make a Shaman.
What now?
How painful is this going to be? Is it as bad as people say it is? Where's the Syndicate Personnel quest? Oh, is it this? Probably. Yeah, okay. We'll also pop a Troll's Blood Potion there, just so we have that. And we have a little bit of Mage Water left over. So the talent build for this demonstration is pretty much full resto. We got Healing Wave, Totemic Focus, Totemic Mastery, and Nature's Guidance. The Nature's Guidance specifically, the 3% hit, I think actually makes early Restoration Shaman more effective than early Enhancement or Elemental. When we're talking at level 25 specifically, it's not like Enhancement has access to Flurry, it's not like they really have Storm Strike, anything along those lines. I think with a really good weapon, like this Crescent Staff, for example, 2.9 seconds, 20 DPS on this, that a Resto Shaman is going to do as much, if not more damage than an Enhancement or an Elemental Shaman at this level. And a lot of that is due to the fact that I have 3% extra hit, which is really big. So as a general rotation, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want a Lightning Bolt into a Flame Shock. Then you're going to want to put down a Searing Totem, and then you're just going to want to melee out. And as you can see, the DPS is decent, especially if I'm actually hitting the target. It's around 50. And a rogue at this level is going to be doing around 50 DPS. A hunter is going to be doing around 50 to 60 or so. Warriors are going to be doing around 40 to 50. Warlocks are going to be doing around 40 to 50. So if you're wondering, like, is the DPS competitive with other things, I'd say it is, more or less. Totem aggro. Weapon imbuement is another question I get asked, and that's an actually really mathy question. What weapon imbuement is the best to use? And there isn't an end-all be-all answer to that. There you go, that was 49 DPS there. Relatively decent efficiency too. It's not like you have to sit down and drink after every mob. You can actually pull quite a few mobs in a row without drinking. Anyway, in terms of weapon imbue, that's a long, controversial question there. Generally speaking, the biggest thing is weapon speed. If the weapon is above 2.6 seconds, you want to use Rockbiter, and if it's below 2.6 seconds, you want to use Frostbrand. And that might sound surprising to you, because Flame Tongue is a thing, and a lot of people want to use Flame Tongue, but Flame Tongue is actually the worst weapon imbuement of the 4 of them. For weapons that are more than 2.6 second attack speed, technically Wind Fury does the most overall damage when you're talking about like 1,000 swings, but Rockbiter is considerably more consistent. And it's like 1% less. So I think Rockbiter is a significantly better choice. It's probably the best overall weapon imbuement for the leveling purposes. However, under 2.6 seconds, it's not Wind Fury or Rockbiter or Flame Tongue. It's actually Frostbrand. Frostbrand is by far the best weapon imbuement under 2.6 seconds. But as you can see right there, that's a 63 DPS pull there. Frostbrand procced 3 times for 142 damage. If you compared that to the damage that Rockbiter would be giving us, or Flame Tongue, which is 12 per attack, it's not even close. Now, this is over 2.6 seconds, and I'm using Frostbrand, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want the added utility right now of being able to slow runners, particularly some of the humanoids like Murlocs or humans that run. Since right now I'm actually killing just a bunch of animals, it doesn't really matter. I should probably have it on Rockbiter instead. But there's another 50 DPS pull. Nice and easy, right? Now we can switch over to our highest rank of Rockbiter, which is 3. See if we can find another bear. And we can do a comparison a little bit. But I'm a big proponent of Rockbiter and Frostbrand. I'm not a huge fan of Wind Fury. The only time I would use it is if I was DPSing a dungeon, because you don't want to have Rockbiter on your weapon because of the threat generation. But I think the big take-home message is that Frostbrand is way better than people think it is. And see, that's 53 DPS. And we got a pretty beefy crit there. Ooh, life root. So, weapon imbuement, what's the best? Attack speed. A slower weapon, use Rockbiter. A faster weapon, use Frostbrand. Pretty much never use Wind Fury, and never ever use Flame Tongue. I know people like Wind Fury though. They like the idea of Wind Fury. They like how Wind Fury feels, and that's fine. I get that. But the math just doesn't really support its use that much in the open world. In dungeons it is better because of the threat, but in the open world Rockbiter is way more consistent and often better. But even with a slower weapon, when I'm fighting anything that flees at low health, I swap over to Frostbrand anyway. That was a pretty bad pull there. At 34 DPS. We also didn't have Searing Totem down. You don't have to put it down every time, but it is a pretty substantial damage contribution. Like right there it was 7% of our overall for an instant cast that costs pretty much no mana. Opening up with Lightning Bolt is definitely the way. In fact, opening up with 2 Lightning Bolts is even better DPS, but it's worse mana efficiency. But if you want, you can definitely do the 2 Lightning Bolt into the Flame Shock, into the melee out, and that also offers quite a bit of DPS. You know, somewhere around 50 or so for that pull. Where does Stone Skin come into play? If you're going to be pulling more than one target, or if you're going to be pulling a target that just hits really hard. I don't have Lightning Shield on myself for this pull, but I did double Lightning Bolt, so that compensates for the fact that Lightning Shield isn't up. And there's 52 DPS. So, yeah, the damage is surprisingly high for low-B Resto Shaman. Now, obviously, around level 40 or so, this starts to fall off a little bit. It doesn't stay this way. But even at level 40, with a good one-handed weapon, like a Hypnotic Blade or that mace out of Scarlet Monastery Cathedral, you slap, you know, Frostbrand on it with a shield in your offhand, and you can just kind of pull all day. And you don't really have to sit down and eat or drink. Nothing's ever going to kill you. It's extremely safe. It's a great way to level. So, the drop rates here have not been great. We've killed quite a few bears, we've gotten 2 tongues, we've killed quite a few spiders, we've gotten no ichor, so off to a bad start in terms of drop rates. But I just wanted to show you guys a little bit about how Resto Shaman quests, how you're going to be killing things, what it looks like damage-wise, how painful is it, and the answer is not at all. It feels fantastic. The damage is absolutely comparable to a lot of other level 25s classes, even better than some. That was a almost 60 DPS pull there. And again, this is just very casual damage. Hunter's pissed off about that. We can also take poisons off of ourselves, like so. Damn, Hunter and I are directly competing for mobs. I was kind of hoping in Classic that once I got to 25 or 30 that the zones would open up a lot more because very few people would make it, but that has not been the case. Since the official servers don't have any solo self-found, you know, you can group with whoever you want, you can trade with whoever you want, you can buy things off the auction house, you can have bank alts. It's actually made the experience significantly easier, and because it's so much easier, so many more people are getting to the higher levels than they were with the add-on. And you can just put down a couple little totems and just pull enemies to them now that they're all down. Got a couple misses there at the end, but we were around 50 DPS for the double pull. And as you can see, we finished with pretty much full mana. Just toss a quick heal on yourself for, you know, very little mana. And go on and pull the next mob. Feels pretty good. Ooh, that's going to be a pretty high DPS pull if we get a Frostbrand prog. And we did. There it is. That was like 80 DPS. No, Shaman feels fine to level. It does slow down. It does slow down. 1 to 20, I think Shaman is probably one of the strongest in the game. And 20 to 40, they're quite good. Remember, you have Ghost Wolf, so that helps a lot. It's after 40 that Shamans start to have some problems. But most people don't make it that far anyway. The hypermajority of players are dead before 40. 99% of players are dead before 40. So why people avoid Shaman on hardcore? Because they're worried about the 40 to 60. When almost all of them aren't going to make it that far anyway. I'm not sure. I don't really understand the stigma that well. It's nice. That's an eagle piece. We're going to throw that on the auction house. Might be able to get a little bit of money for it. Big ol' crit there. Of course we missed the melee swing. Got a Frostbrand proc. And there we go. I'm going to drop the totems because I'm going to pull both of these guys. We'll go ahead and refresh Lightning Shield while I'm pulling it back. This is a level 26, it's an Elder Grey Bear, so this guy's hitting a little bit harder, has a little bit more health. Pop 2 heals on ourselves. Pull the next one. I got sun coming through my window right at my face level. I'm usually pretty vigilant about cleansing poison off myself. And the reason I do that is not because of the damage of the poison, because I don't care about that. It's because the poison is a 2-second cast from these spiders, and something in their AI like requires them to cast it if the target isn't poisoned. So the second you cleanse that poison off, now the spider generally spends the next 2-3 seconds with pushback casting another poison on you, and they're not hitting you. So cleansing the poison there is a good damage mitigator, not from even the damage of the poison itself, but because of the cast time involved. I want this Briar Thorn here. There we go, he put the poison on us. And he's dead. That large venom sac that they drop, you can make a pretty good alchemy potion out of. That removes all poisons off of you. And it's particularly good for like warriors that want to do Makaras and stuff, because they can take crippling poison off themselves. Always want to use a little bit of care when you're dealing with mobs that are higher level than your character is. But we still did about 50 DPS to him. Wasn't particularly dangerous. And yeah, this is the Lobby Resto Shaman life. So for anybody that was wondering what it looks like, how it feels to quest, how the damage is, how the survivability is, hope this was helpful for you, at least for this 20 to 30 level range. Obviously things change a little bit as you get up in the levels, but at the lower levels it feels fantastic. It really does. Except for the drop rates. The drop rates feel terrible. Now you can use a one hand and a shield, if you so desire. It makes you considerably tankier, but my one hand sucks, so the damage does feel way worse. But I can show you what that looks like, I suppose. So this is a Harpy Skinner with the Seed Cloud Buckler, which is a wonderful shield for this level. In fact, this is probably the best shield you're going to get for a while. It's going to be a long time before a better shield actually drops for Shaman than that. But this is about 10 DPS versus the Crescent Staff's 20 DPS, so it's a significant damage difference. But I can show you what that feels like when you're actually fighting mobs, and the tankiness too that you get from one-handed shield. So 34 DPS, not actually terrible, but he took very little of our health. Like, just doesn't do any damage to us. With the shield, we have about 30% or so armor rating. But it's quite viable. As you can see, the mobs die pretty quickly. It's a noticeable decrease. I'd say about 25% DPS or so loss. You go from, 50 to 40. But the trade-off is that you're much more survivable. And with a better weapon, I think we could close that gap quite a bit. If I had, even like a 16 DPS one-hand or something, I'd probably be doing the same 50 DPS that I'm doing with the staff, with the added survivability of having the shield. I actually think one-handed shield is a better way to level than using the two-hander, but when you have a two-hander that's that much better, you might as well use it, right? Do have to be careful of these griffins. I think they're pretty high level. Yeah. They're named skulls. And as a horde, I think they aggro onto us, so we don't want any of that smoke, as the kids say. These sharp claws also are valuable, because you can make a potion out of these too. I think it's called Rage Potion. Yeah. Sharp Claw and Briarthorn makes a rage potion, which is really, really nice for warriors. You just get like 40 rage, you know, so you can charge in, pop that, and now you have enough rage to Thunderclap, Demo Shout, spread some Sunders around. It's really good for big dungeon pulls, and those remain valuable for a very long time. They sell relatively well in the auction house too, so I know that has nothing to do with Resto Shaman leveling, but just since it happens to be dropping, these Sharp Claws and these large Venom Sacs are both very valuable for alchemy. Alright, let's make our way back in the other direction. We only have 4 Bear Tongues and no Ichor. Like, this drop rate has actually been spectacularly bad. The worst I've seen in a long time, I'd say. Particularly bad drop rate. But that wasn't the point of the video anyway. The point of the video is just kind of to demonstrate how leveling a Resto Shaman feels in this other range. Did we get a single proc? I feel like we didn't get a single Frostbrand proc there. We did not. How many melee attacks was that? 19. 19 melee attacks without a Frostbrand proc. And that is, of course, the downside of Frostbrand, but that's spectacularly bad. I think Frostbrand has about a 33% chance of proccing. So about 1 in 3 hits on average, you'll get a Frostbrand proc. To go 19 straight hits without a Frostbrand proc, I think is like 0.01% odds of happening. I should go buy a scratch-off ticket. I just had 3 Frostbrand procs against that guy. We'll drag this dude back to the totem. We'll swap back to the Fat Daddy staff now. Woo, huge crit. Staff feels better already. Which is really the importance of Horde getting the Crescent Staff. Like, there's no reason for any shaman not to have it. It's a really simple Wailing Caverns quest. You should be doing that dungeon anyway. And you get rewarded with this weapon that'll carry you 20 to 30. No problem. If this quest wasn't part of a lengthy chain, I'd almost think it's not worth it. Refresh the lightning shield, get a searing totem down, and just melee it out. We got 1 dodge there, and then a parry. Unfortunate. That is the classic experience though. And then a huge overkill crit, where none of the damage matters. Part of the problem with Wind Fury is overkill damage. Hey, we got a tongue. Kite back, refresh lightning shield, put down a searing totem, melee it out. Boom. 50 DPS. This guy's gonna aggro to us early. He missed us, so there's no spell pushback. We'll go ahead and refresh everything. Technically, we don't have to drink. We can just keep going fairly efficiently. We can probably pull another 4 or 5 mobs before we have to sit down and drink. Or never, if you just space them out a little bit more. But I have this stack and a half of free mage water, so might as well use it. Back-to-back pull here. Almost 60 DPS before we started missing. Got a couple spider silk, which is actually pretty valuable. Yeah, this stuff here. I think it's used in a bunch of tailoring things, like the spider silk boots, which we should probably have crafted for ourselves. There's a lot of this vendor stuff that people just, I think, don't realize is valuable, like the spider silk, the large venom sac, the sharp claw. It's just game knowledge, I guess. The longer you play, you just kind of pick these things up. But don't vendor these things. Throw them on the auction house if you have the opportunity. People will absolutely buy them. For 3, 4 times what you would have vendored them for, if not more than that. Refresh lightning shield here. Boom. Big Frostbrand proc. Go ahead and heal ourselves, refresh lightning shield. We'll pull this bear back since we have a stone skin totem down. And we might as well just pull this one too. Double pulls don't have to be dangerous, especially if they're lower level than you. Shaman are particularly effective at double pulling. I suppose in terms of weaving flame shock and survivability, not in terms of AoE damage. We don't have any of that. Not yet. We'll get chain lightning, fire nova, magma. We'll get that stuff later, but frankly it's never efficient to do. Schematic, shadow goggles. I don't know if that's worth anything. I feel like this quest has absolutely not been worth it. Since most of these mobs have been green and the drop rate's been so terrible. And the turn-in's probably only going to be like 1,000 experience. I don't think in terms of experience per hour this quest has been worth my time. Maybe if I was like level 22. Got another life root over there. Definitely have to bang those. Life root is relatively useful for alchemy. It's not super useful, but there's a couple of recipes that use it. But the thing that's really nice about life root is the herbalism skill points that you get. You get a tremendous amount of herbalism skill points off of life root. It remains orange and then even yellow for a huge amount of herbalism, like 40 straight points you can get on that. And life root is pretty ubiquitous. Up and down this river is quite a bit of it. Although you don't want to go too far up this river. There is an elite dragon that patrols up there that you do not want any part of. Yes, tongues. Let's see if we can pull this guy back to our totem. Should be able to. Hit him with another lightning bolt, maybe? Nice. I do not want this totem to pull that turtle. Nice, that's all our tongues. Right, let's grab this life root. And then kill some more spiders and hopefully get a spider ichor. Damn. Nice. I might even be able to auction the life root if I'm not going to be using it myself. Might be valuable. Of course, when we're looking for spiders, it's all bears. There's one. Crisp spider meat. Not what we wanted. Goes to one of the best parts about being a shaman in this level range. A lot of the other classes are still very slow, but there's one. There's two. We can pull them both. Get our totems down. Oof. Maybe the higher level spiders have a better drop chance. We have a lot of this spider leg crap. There's probably a cooking recipe that uses it. Can almost guarantee there is, actually. I don't really want both of these. Nice. Just a spider bolt. And let's hope one of these has an ichor on it. Oh, kill me. There's slightly higher ones over here. Gotta be careful. That Nathander's dead. Remember to stack your totems sometimes, depending. No dice. We can go a little bit deeper here, see if we can find another one. Yeah, there's two more. There's definitely some dead bodies. This is a dangerous place. This is gonna be a 45-minute quest, huh? It's an orange 28 mountain lion. There's another one over there. I have no way to recall that totem. I can just place another totem down. Oh my god, double resist. The god tier resist rolls on this spider. This mountain lion is a menace. We'll head back this way. We've lost a lot of people in the guild today. Over the course of doing this quest, we've lost like 7 people. This has got to be some of the worst. Drop RNG. This is pretty terrible. Oh boy. I don't want to go further up the river. There be monsters up there. At least they're easy kills. At least the lower level ones, the 27 ones take a little bit more doing, but these ones are nice and easy. Ha! We got it. Praise the Lord. So that was supposed to be a little 20-minute video about how it feels to quest as a Resto Shaman early level, and it ended up becoming a 45-minute video because we just couldn't get the tongues and the ichor to drop. But there's your demonstration. If anyone was wondering, I do get a lot of questions about it. It does seem like Shaman, particularly Resto Shaman, but Shaman in general has a lot of stigma and misinformation associated with it in the hardcore community. People don't want to play it. People stay away from it. It is considerably better than people say. And I suppose I'll try to prove that with this little video series.
What is it?
We killed your frog, bro. He did. Alright, catch you guys next time.